All right, you cool cats and kittens, let's talk a little about Shakespeare. We're going to go into Act 1, Scene 5 today because this is the scene where Romeo and Juliet meet for the first time. This is a big, big part of the whole play. But before we do that, we're going to go back just a little bit. We're going to go back to Scene 4, which is really kind of a throwaway scene because it's just Romeo and his friends going to the party. But there's a couple things I want to point out. So, first of all, we've got Romeo walking with his friends. And if you remember, when we first meet Romeo, he is distraught. He is totally upset because the girl he loved, Rosaline, does not love him back. And so they find out Rosaline's going to be at the party. And that's how they get Romeo to go to the party. But he's starting to have second thoughts. And so he's on the way to the party when he says, "Give me a torch. I'm not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light," which means I'm not up for the dancing. I'm just feeling down. I'll just go, but whatever. And here's his buddy Mercutio. Mercutio goes, "No, nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance." "Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground. I cannot move." "You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings, and soar with them above a common bound." "I am too sore and pierced with his shaft to soar with his light feathers, and so bound I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink." And so they're telling him, "Look, you're a lover. Come on, let's go play. Let's go meet a girl. Let's go have a good time." And Romeo's like, "No, Cupid's got me, and his shaft is like right through my heart, and I am hurting, and this is not going to happen. This is not for me." But Mercutio's not having it because Romeo says, "Love's heavy burden do I sink." And Mercutio disagrees. "To sink in it, should you burden love? Too great oppression for a tender thing. Love's too much of an oppression for the. This is too much of an oppression for a tender thing that love isn't. Romeo doesn't love a tender thing. It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and pricks like thorn." And so they're disagreeing on what love is here. To Romeo, love is a very serious matter, and it's meant to be taken seriously. And Mercutio's love is a fun thing. You just let it come and let it go and just live your life. And when love is there, you enjoy it. And if it's not there, don't worry about it. Because with love, if love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case, put my Besagion, a visor for a visor. What care I, what curious eye doth coat deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me. And so they're going to a masquerade party. They're going to a costume party, essentially. So he's saying, if love's going to be rough with you, be rough with love. Who cares? We're going to this thing. He's like, "Give me my mask," is essentially what he's saying. What do I care if some curious person is looking at me going, "Who's that guy?" Doesn't matter. We're here to have fun. So the first question I got for you is Mercutio a good friend by pressuring Romeo to go to this party? Or should we just accept that Romeo doesn't feel good right now and we should let him do what he wants? Put your answer below. All right, I'm going to move on. Way ahead, we get into this weird thing. Mercutio does a very strange speech about Queen Mab, which is a fairy that comes to you in your dreams. It gets weird for a while, but after all this, eventually we do convince Romeo to go to the party. But he has this last little scene, or last set of lines in scene 4, where he says, "I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence yet hanging in the stars. Shall barely begin his fearful date with this night reveals and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breath by some vile forfeit of untimely death." Which means he says, like, something's not right, and he feels a worry of some untimely death is near. "But he that hath the steerage of my course direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen." Now, aside from the lusty gentleman who he's referring to as his friends, he's saying, "He that hath the steerage of my course direct my sail," which means we're going to leave this up to fate. I'm not in control of this. Fate's in control of things. And so I'm not really feeling like going to the party. I'm not feeling like doing these things. And I actually feel like some bad things are coming. But you know what? Let's let fate take the course. what can go wrong? Well, a lot. If you remember from the prologue, they tell us what happens at the end. And so I'm asking you, what's foreshadowed here? What should we as readers see this and be like, oh, Romeo, you don't ask for fate to take over? And so again, there's a hint. We were flat out told what's going to happen in the prologue. So what is foreshadowed when he says, of despised life close my breath by some vile forfeit of untimely death, but he that hath the steerage of my course direct my sail. All right, let's not be a downer. We're going to Act 1, Scene 5. We are ready for the party. And so we're at the party. Capulet's there. Capulet being Juliet's father. And he's getting everybody ready. And he tells them, and this is kind of a funny thing, I think. He says, welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplugged with corns will walk about with you. Which means he's getting everybody together. And he says, all right, anyone that doesn't have disgusting feet will be happy to dance with you. And so if there's any girls there that are like, well, I don't really feel like dancing. It's like, oh, why don't you want to dance? What's up with you? Are you gross? What's going on? And that's his little trick. And it kind of works. And he's getting everybody excited. And they go and they dance. And then shortly thereafter, like really not long after he gets the party started, Romeo sees Juliet for the first time. Just sees her. Hadn't spoken to her yet. Just sees her. And immediately grabs a servant and he says, what lady's that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? Meaning, who's that? And the servant is worthless. He's like, I know not, sir. Romeo says, oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. She shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady over her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it to sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night. And so right away, and remember, he didn't even want to go to this party because he was so lovesick over Rosalind. We see earlier in the act, he's awake all night crying, and during the day he's like hiding out in the woods, and he's just this mess of a human being. And as soon as he sees Juliet, it all changes. Right? Everything changes. She doth teach the torches to burn bright. Like she is brighter than any fire. Like she has got things going, right? And I've never saw true beauty till this night. He can't get over it. And look at this. Bright, night, ear, deer, crow, shows, stand, hand. As soon as he sees Juliet, he's immediately struck by her beauty and starts to rhyme when he speaks. He starts speaking in rhyme. So what are we supposed to believe happened at first sight? It's a major stereotype and archetype that we see in stories all the time. What happened at first sight there? And by the way, this whole rhyming thing, that's not going to be lost on anybody. We just saw him earlier talking to his friends. Is he rhyming then? Nope. But suddenly he sees Juliet. He's rhyming. All right, let's go on. Shortly after, in fact, immediately after this, Tybalt. Remember Tybalt? Tybalt was from Act 1. He was the one that wanted to start the fight. He hates all Montagues. He's kind of got Benvolio's trying to keep the peace, and he got all up in Benvolio's face. Tybalt is a fiery Capulet, and right away he recognizes Romeo, and he tells his page, his like servants, like, fetch me my rapier, boy. Like, go get my sword. Like, we're at this party, and he's ready to start a fight right away in this party. And immediately goes to tell Capulet. He says, Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite to scorn at our solemnity as a knight. And so right away, doesn't matter, it's a costume party, we got it. We're going to tell the man in charge. And the man in charge goes, young Romeo, is it? 'Tis he, that villain Romeo. And this is the response. We find out there's a Montague party, and the response is, content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. Turns out Romeo's kind of an okay guy, and even Capulet kind of recognizes that. And he goes on, I said, I would not for all the wealth of this town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore be patient, take no note of him. It is my will, the which, if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, and ill beseeming semblance for a feast. He said, if it's my will, it's my choice, it's my party, I get to decide. And I'm telling you, respect my opinion and just put off these frowns. Like, go have fun. Who cares? You're in the wrong mindset for a party. And so why does Capulet? This is his enemy. The enemies are the Montagues. We know this. They've had multiple fights. The prince has put down this order. If there's any more fighting, if there's any more jail. So why does he say, like, hey, no, Romeo's here? That's fine. Because that's not the attitude that we're taught. But that's the attitude he has. Tybalt's not done. He's going to go on. He's going to get angry for a while. He's going to keep pressing the issue. And finally, Capulet's going to he's like, no, he shall be endured. I say he shall. Go to. I am the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set a cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man. And Tybalt was like, man, this is a shame. Does not agree. Cabby's like, done. He's like, go to. You're a saucy boy. Means you are really overdoing it. You're full of hot air. You're crazy. Get out of here. And then he goes on. He says, this trick may chance to scathe you. I know what, you must contrary me. Marriage is time, well said, my heart. You are Prince God's going. So he's telling off, but he said this. This trick may chance to scathe you. This trick, this attitude may scathe you later. It may catch up to you. Is this foreshadowing? I don't know. But look how Tybalt responds. His response is, patience perforce with willful caller meeting makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall. Which means, I'm going to act sweet now, but this ain't over. I'm coming back for you, Romeo. And so if you weren't catching the foreshadowing with what Capulet was saying, right here, Tybalt's foreshadowing that this isn't done. We may not see the end of Romeo and Tybalt right here. And to be fair, it's Act 1. Like, it'd be pretty dumb if it just ended here with, oh, well, everything's okay.